And I know that there are some people in here who do not believe in this story, who do not believe that God sent the storm. I do know that some people in here do not believe in the big fish that God sent to swallow up Jonah. If we have to reason with our human mind on what God can do, that if we only fit God into a small box and we're telling God that you have to do everything within this box, God, because I only understand it this way, then we're worshiping a small God. And that is not the God of the Bible, and that is not the God that I worship, and that is not the God that we worship as a church. Because the God that we want to worship, the God that we believe in as a church, is a God of miracles, is a God who can do the impossible. That is the God of Jonah, who provided him shelter, who sent the storm, who sent the fish, that even when Jonah disobeyed, God came running after him to save him from himself. Fortunately for Jonah, fortunately for many of us, when we try to run away from God, God catches up with us and redirects us and reroutes us to where God is calling us to. Thankfully, we have a God who is gracious enough to come after us even when we disobey, even when we ignore God, even when God tries to tell us to do something and we try to do something else. We have a God of grace who is merciful, who is willing and will come after us. There is nowhere on earth that you and I can hide from God. The story here of Jonah is a powerful story of God's grace. That not only God saved Jonah, but used Jonah, even through his disobedience, because as the story tells us, the people on the boat also came to a point where they worshiped the Lord. They came to a point where they also worshiped the God of Jonah. That they made a sacrifice to acknowledge that the God of Jonah controlled the storm, controlled what's at sea, controlled everything on the planet. So may we as a church remember this story of Jonah, because his story is our story. The story of Jonah is a story about human disobedience and how a merciful God is willing to come after us, to run after us, to save us from ourselves and redirect us for the purpose and mission that God is calling us to.